in public Wi-Fi networks, if they're not configured for client isolation, then any device that's connected to the network could potentially access other devices that are on the network. And that's where naturally there should be a concern if you're connecting particularly work machines, but also your personal devices as well, potentially. That's why a lot of time Windows 10 kind of does it automatically, but if you only use Windows 7, you used to connect to networks, it would pop up saying, is this home, work, public? That's what it was trying to do. The idea being that you said public and it would close the firewall, just call the firewall off, to try and protect you from other devices on the network coming in at it. Now, did everyone get that premise? It's quite a simple premise, right? The unfortunate thing from our point of view as Joe Public are kicking about in these networks is we know that we can tell obviously if it's encrypted or not. You know, on your Apple devices it shows encrypted ones with a wee padlock, and Windows is the other way around, it shows a warning sign on the ones that are unencrypted. So at least we can make a choice about whether we're connecting to an unencrypted network or not. What we can't do is know whether client isolation is set up or not. It's not something you're in control of at all. It's the configuration of the network. The admins have to set that up. And that's the frustrating thing. You don't. So you need to be conscious of the risk around that and what you can perhaps do about it. So we'll speak about that. Let me nip on and give you a couple of examples to hopefully highlight the kind of things we're talking about. So this example's from a train journey a couple of years back, if that. Coming up from Edinburgh, peak time, packed, absolutely packed train. I'm fortunate enough I've got a table seat, I've got my laptop out, and I look around me and there's just loads and loads of people, obviously all as they do on phones and tablets and laptops and everything all over the place. And on the window next to me is the free Wi-Fi sticker in the windows. So it was a boring journey, so I thought I'll have a little talk about here. But the thing I want to emphasise here is that in my opinion, it's a grey-scale area, but in my opinion none of this is hacking. I didn't do anything here that I think is a breach of law or hacking or anything like that. Most people, most probably 14, 15-year-olds these days can work out how to do this stuff easily. No bother at all. So anyway, within a matter of seconds on the network, the first thing I get to is this. Now I don't expect this to mean anything to you guys, but what this is this is the entrance page for configuring the transmitters that are on the train, which it's even giving you a picture of, which is very kind of it. Now I've got no control over this, it's password protected, okay, so you may think, well that's okay, but understand this, hackers are only ever trying to get that first foothold into a network. They're never just going for the holy grail straight away, because, well, unless they can, but these days that's highly unlikely. It's almost like a climbing wall. You're just trying to get that foothold in it, no matter where it is, and then you work your way to where you can get to what's called the pivot point. You pivot in, and you get to what you'll get to that third year, I'm sure we'll talk about that. So this is useful to me because as a potential hacker in the train, I've now got information about the infrastructure that's in the train that, frankly, as a punter on the train, I shouldn't know about. It should be difficult to get. But the key thing here is it's giving me things like the firmware version that's running, and I won't go into this today, but as we all kind of can probably get, software has flaws. We get patches and updates to fix it. These flaws are often made public. They're typically made public. So I can now look, and I can guarantee you this is probably out of date. I didn't check that. But that means I can go and have a look and see what known vulnerabilities there are in that version of the software for that device. Yeah, this is a starting point, potentially. And I can see it's broadcasting two names. Nothing secret about this, but you can see there's your cheap, nasty Wi-Fi for everyone, no encryption on there, but then they've got a nice corporate one with encryption on it. That's very kind of them. But like I said, I put no value in that anyway because it's really a commonly known key. So then I can grab all the traffic that's flowing through the air. Don't expect any of this to mean anything to you guys, but every one of these lines is a packet of data that's shooting through the air, and you can see it's not encrypted, it's just clear text. And what you do with this, of course, this is just screeds and screeds and screeds, but what you can do with this is obviously hone in on something. I can either just grab it all and then analyse it at home, but more likely, let's face it, I've got 3 hours on a train. I'm going to sit and listen to see something grabs my eye. I'm going to tell the software just filter in on this device. That's me now just listening to your device, Dorothy, and thinking, oh, she's got some cool stuff going on here.
Dorothy, yeah. Dorothy out any more than she already is.
Should I listen to your device?